Hey everyone, my name is Marco Strange. If you're unfamiliar with me, I used to write reviews for a site called StrangeCast News. This year I wanted to change things up and start doing video reviews. So I was thinking about which one would be the best to start with, and there's two things about this month that stood out to me. One, it's the Chinese New Year, and it's the year of the tiger, and two, it's February, the month of love. That's why for my first video review, I'm doing Toradora. Toradora is a series that came out in 2008 and follows the story of Ryuji and Taiga. Both are high school students with a crush on each other's friend. Because of this, they form a partnership to help the other get with their crush. However, as things go along, they end up developing feelings for each other. Some people would brush off a series like Toradora and say it's another cliche love story. After all, you can probably guess how a series like this would end. While you may have an idea of how things will end, you probably won't know how we get there. To add to that, it's the journey, not the destination. Just because you know where you're going doesn't mean you can't enjoy getting to that point. Thankfully, Toradora makes that journey an entertaining one. One thing that helps a series like Toradora is it's not just a love story. Sometimes episodes will focus on other things, like Taiga's relationship with her dad. Other times they'll revolve around other characters, like their friends. If Toradora only focused on the love story between Ryuji and Taiga, chances are I'd get bored of it. It's the fact that it knows when to take a break from the love story that makes me keep watching it. Also, I doubt this series would be 25 episodes if it only focused on their love story. In comparison, there's a series called Kashamashi which I also enjoy. It's about three girls that are in a love triangle. The series is only 12 episodes long, plus one OVA that serves as the finale, and most of them involve the love triangle. Even when a character got their own episode, the series would still find a way to involve talking about the love triangle in it. If Kashamashi took a break from the love story in a few episodes, it would be a better series. Toradora is proof of that because I love the story and the characters. Speaking of the characters, Toradora has some of the best side characters I've seen in the anime. Specifically, Ryuji and Taiga's friends Minori, Kitamura, and Amy. All of them helped make the story entertaining and showed there was more than just the two main characters in the series. I'll talk in a moment about why I like Ryuji and Taiga, but their group of friends add more to this story. The best example of this is Minori. Minori is Taiga's best friend and the girl Ryuji has a crush on. She's also a softball player and has dreams of becoming a professional someday. Minori was one of my favorite characters for a couple of reasons. She comes off as always being happy, but there are times where she'll get mad or upset. The best example of this is when Ryuji convinces Taiga to give her dad another chance. When Minori hears that he did that, she gets angry about it. As it turns out, Minori also convinced Taiga to do the same, and Taiga's dad ended up leaving her again. It's understandable to see a person like Minori get mad because she regrets seeing her best friend get hurt. It was moments like that which showed Minori wasn't just the girl that's always happy. She was a person who felt emotions and didn't want to see her friends get hurt. Honestly, I feel like everyone in their group of friends was amazing and could have had a series based around them. However, I want to save talking about them for another video in the future. Now I want to jump into what I love most about Toradora. That is the main characters Ryuji and Taiga, and their love story. So most reviewers would probably talk about this first in the series. After all, it is in my opinion what makes Toradora so great. However, I saved it for last because of how important it is. Ryuji and Taiga are my favorite anime couple, and they're what made me love Toradora. Ryuji started as a misunderstood boy with a crush on the sweetest girl in school. Taiga started as a tsundere that abuses the main character. However, as the series went on, both of them changed. They still have some of the traits they started with, but they do change over time, which is why I love them. None of us are ever the same person for our whole life. We change as time goes on for several reasons. Ryuji and Taiga are no different. Not only do we see them change throughout Toradora, we see them change for the better. I'll start with Ryuji. As I brought up earlier, Ryuji was the reason Taiga gave her father another chance. Ryuji convinced Taiga to do that since he doesn't have a father and thought it was the best thing for Taiga. However, Ryuji finds out she has a reason to hate her father because he ends up leaving her again. After Ryuji finds that out, he feels horrible and wonders how he can face her. Despite him putting Taiga through that, it led to one of his best moments. Ryuji could argue that he didn't know better, and that's why he talked Taiga into that. However, he owns up to his mistakes because he knows it was wrong. It takes a lot to realize he screwed up, let alone apologize for it. However, Ryuji realized his mistakes and admitted them. He also doesn't try to shift the blame off himself by saying something like, "I didn't know he would do that." If that's not a sign of someone being mature, I don't know what is. When it comes to Taiga, she also has moments like that. During Christmas time in the series, Taiga tries to help Ryuji and Minori get together. She tries by no longer relying on Ryuji for everything, like how he normally cooks for her. The reason she's doing this is because she wants the two people closest to her to be happy. It's the opposite of what Ryuji did because she's only thinking about them, not considering what she wants. We find out later that Taiga does have feelings for Ryuji. However, she thinks he should get with Minori because she thinks he'll be happier with her. After all, the reason they teamed up was so they could help the other get with their crush. Eventually, Minori tells Taiga that she shouldn't put her happiness over hers and that she should only focus on her own. I think that's a lesson everyone should learn, but I also understand that Taiga did this because she thought it was the right thing for everyone. There are more examples I could give, and maybe I'll talk about them in a future video. My point is that moments like those made me love the both of them and made me want to see them end up together. After all, the best relationship of any kind is the type where both parties mutually gain something. Ryuji and Taiga's relationship fits that because both help the other grow in some way. So I talked about why I like Ryuji and Taiga and why I wanted to see them end up together. However, Toradora does a lot right with its love story, and I'd argue it's one of the best. Like most series, Toradora doesn't start with Ryuji and Taiga in love. However, it also doesn't wait to hit you all at once with one of them realizing they're in love. Instead, it builds up to it, making you wonder when these feelings started. To add to that, it made me want to rewatch Toradora and try to find out what that moment was that led to Ryuji and Taiga falling in love. You could argue it started with what Taiga was saying when she was alone with Ryuji at the beach house. You could also argue it was when she saved him from drowning. Either way, I don't know, and that's why I love it. It makes me wonder about what the real answer is. If you're looking for a series with a believable love story and two characters to bring out the best in each other, then Toradora is the series for you. It makes you want to see where their love story goes, and makes use of every character along the way. Hey everyone! Thanks for checking out my first review. If you enjoyed it, then please hit the like button and subscribe to see more reviews in the future. Also, if you'd like to see more of my content, then consider checking out my podcast, Talks with Marco. Until next time, stay safe, stay strange.